drug has been found that is pronounced effective in combating AIDS.
More than 12,000 are expected to develop the deadly disease next year.
It's estimated that 1.2 million people in the U.S. have HIV.
The stigma of HIV has many suffering in silence.
They're afraid to speak out.
That would double the number of cases since 1981 nationwide.
HIV rates are declining in the United States due to prevention efforts and awareness.
The CDC.
1 in 30 black women will be diagnosed with HIV at some point.
Black women account for more than half of new HIV infections among women.
Hey, what's up, guys? I am Koya.
Hi, everybody. I'm Weezy.
All right, ladies, welcome to Risky.
I am the host of Risky Dinner Conversation.
Okay. I'm here to host the Risky Dinner alongside Koya. If you haven't met me, all you gotta know, tonight is all about the influence of you. It's all about the influencers that are making waves, that are able to spread the word about HIV and the rates amongst black women, talking about how to keep our numbers lower and how to have the safest risky sex.
Yes, let's give everyone a round of applause. Thank you for being here. That was awesome. As you know, this is Risky Chicago. Thank you to Gilead Sciences. Because of them, we've been able to take this to Houston, to Dallas, and now Chicago. We started in Orlando, and they have helped us take it all over the United States. So thank you to them. Also, after today's conversation, I hope you guys feel empowered to go out and let your following know what it is. In Chicago, black women are 15 times more likely than our white counterparts to contract HIV. So that is an alarming number. So we want you guys to educate your following. We also want to empower you guys to be ambassadors, to help other people advocate for themselves, you know? You guys have the following. They're looking at you, like I said, no one's turning on the news, or do they even print newspapers still? Looking at the newspaper, you know, like no one's doing that anymore, right? They're waking up and the first thing they're doing is getting on Instagram, getting on TikTok, looking at you guys. So it's gonna take for us to be the ones to actually influence something.
Hi guys, I'm Jody. I am the host of the Provocative Podcast here in Chicago. I spell it Proevocatave. Spell it with a hole in the middle because we all got a little hole in the middle. So, hey Weezy. And I, outside of being a podcaster, I'm also a certified sexologist and a fellatio instructor. I'm a sex educator. So, yeah, I ain't got this big mouth for nothing. Okay. All of my content is around all things sex. So I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the kinky, the boring. Like, I talk about it all. And my question reads, how often do you get tested for HIV? I personally get tested every 6 months. I'll go 3 months if it's a very wholesome year. So yeah, wholesome. If I'm having a lot of holy activity, then I will go more often.
Hey, ladies. How y'all doing? My name is Cookie Daniels. I own the biggest adult sensual movement studio in the Midwest. So my question is, tell us some ways you take control of your sexual health. For me, baby, you ain't getting no head until I see your paperwork, okay? So that's just me. I know it sounds better than, like, I know a few times I slipped, but that was back in the day. Now, you know what I'm saying, I won't get in bed with you till I see your paperwork. Pull up that my chart, my boy, okay? Then we can move on. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Elle Barbie. I am a content creator on Instagram and TikTok. You guys might have seen me do hair, do makeup. My question is, how is HIV spreaded? Obviously the first one is sex, but another is through birth. Some mothers, they don't know that they have HIV until, that child is born. And I think HIV is a big topic that we should all talk about, so yeah.
Hi y'all. I hail from the south side of Chicago. I am here as a guest of my longtime friend, Brittany. I'm not a content creator, but I'm probably going to get into it. Yes, I'm Jasmine Winfrey. Yes, I'm related to Oprah. I have not seen her. I haven't heard from her. She has not wrote back. She hasn't emailed back. She hasn't called me back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm an RN. I do labor and delivery, going on 5 years. So I'm very appreciative to be here, and that's why B reached out to me, because I'm kind of getting away from bedside, and I want to get into women healthcare advocacy from up under the hospitals.
Hello, everybody. I'm B-Bad, B-E-A-B-A-D. I am the creator, host, founder of Tactless Radio. Tactless Radio was created for Black women who are tired of code switching. I come from a corporate space. I am sick and tired of having to talk for white women and then also have to worry about white women feelings when it comes to my integrity and my humanhood. My question is, do you ask the status of every sexual partner before becoming intimate? And very similar to my sis at the corner, absolutely. I need to see paperwork before we jump into the bed. Like, I need to see paperwork, and some of these, I was about to curse. Because some of these people don't know what a My Chart is. And that's kind of scary. Like, if you don't know your login to My Chart, we not doing anything. They don't have a PCP, girl. They don't do checkups. Absolutely not. It smells like schmeeze down there. So
make sure that paperwork is within the last 6 months.
Every single time. So to answer the question, yes, and I think it's very important that we all ask for the status of people that we are engaging ourselves with, because it just takes one and done, unfortunately. For a lot of women who have been in that space, it's been one opportunity, it's been one instance, and that was it. So it's always important to ask. And thank you so much, Koya. I enjoy being here.
My question is, why is it uncommon to talk about HIV openly? I think there's a few reasons. Obviously, the first being shame, stigma, privacy, not wanting to even open up that box of can of worms. But I also think it has a lot to do with miss or lack of education as well. If you don't know that that's something that you need to talk about, or you think that doesn't affect you, then that's not something that you're going to be bringing up with your homegirls, because that's not your story to tell, or that's not something that affects you.
Thank you, everyone. You all look so beautiful. Thank you. No. This was a good question. I had to sit on this for a second. So, when was the first time you remember learning about sexual health? And so I was giggling because I remember when I was 16 and my mom used to pop up, you tell me when you're having sex so I get you a birth control, because she was a teenage mother. She would just pop up like a jack in a box and ask me. Like, it would just be random. She'd just be like, you can just tell me, please. So that was the first time, but I think just as someone who might be a little older, I never stopped learning about my sexual health, ever. It changes with age. That's a whole nother table. But I did want to say thank you all, because you all are influencers. You're influencing the people who look to you every single day. You know, I'm an old school influencer. What I will tell you is this: you all have more power and influence, and use your platform for good, no matter what that is to you, for good. So that's all.
I'm an originator from the south side of Chicago. When I was growing up, I was extremely promiscuous. So I love when Chella talked about that, because we don't have these open conversations to be candid to say, I fucked a whole lot of niggas too. And I'm a doctor with a PhD, but I'm keeping it real. I didn't have the space to talk to people to say, you know, should I ask this Negro, do he got some shit? You get what I'm saying? And because I didn't have that space, that means that I did a whole lot of shit wrong. You know, and we didn't have this kind of thing, and not even in our families do we have that, unfortunately. And so this is so important. And so when we come in places like this in the future, and I love how we are so warm to each other, so when we in other spaces, make sure you do that. Because you don't know who's sitting at this table who may have HIV. You understand what I'm saying? Or struggle with herpes or STDs or whatever, right? Because I didn't have stuff. I'm keeping it real. I mean, because we having a candid conversation. So, you know, I didn't ask a man, you know, for my chart or for any of his information. And I'm talking about a whole lot of men, right? So I felt that to my soul, Chella, when you was like,
I was like, damn, she right, shit.
Okay, so now on the real side of things, right? In my spaces and the things that I do as a private practitioner and the women that I come in contact with and the young women that I come in contact with, there are so many women that I have been diagnosed with HIV. So I have to continue to make sure that I'm listening and sitting at tables like this so that I can give a young women, the right information, you know? So my question is, what is HIV stigma? So what I've experienced in the medical field would be educators telling a woman the wrong thing. And also not taking our concerns or some of the things we've experienced to heart, or even, with passion and compassion and empathy. It's like, oh, she a black girl, she'll get over it.
My name is Olwetu. I am from South Africa. I am excited to be here, and I'm so honored to be part of this initiative because this topic is quite an issue back at home as well. I do have people in my life that are affected by HIV, so they actually talk about it and they're very open about it. And I think it's because they also want to educate the people around them. And I'm actually so happy that people start to talk about it compared to years ago where people kept it a secret and it was something people don't talk about.
You never see Black women at the front of any of this, right? We may see a gay couple, or we may see a white woman or a white guy, but it's not really geared towards Black women, right? And we are the highest when it comes to this. So this is why Risky was created, right? It was curated by 3 Black women who saw a need in multiple communities throughout the United States, and we decided to curate this dinner party and take it throughout the United States to educate Black women so that they know what's going on. Nobody really looks at the news anymore. Nobody's reading the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post. They're looking at us as influencers to see what they need to be doing, what they need to be buying, what's the latest trend, where I need to shop at, all the things, right? And a lot of people call themselves an influencer. Someone said they hate that name, right? Calling yourself an influencer, but it's what are you influencing? Why not use your platform to influence something that directly affects your community, directly affects women who look like you? I think we have this thing in our minds that HIV looks a certain way, or that comes from certain environments. But no, as you can see, it very much looks like everyone in this room. Who finds it easy to talk about HIV with their friend circles, with their family groups, maybe even social circles? Is that a thing? Are you guys having candid conversations about HIV with them?
Me and my friends, we talk about it, mainly because I'm the nurse of the friends. So if you're the nurse or the medical person in the family, and I know y'all can relate, y'all get them text messages. I get pictures. I be in church. I be at the movie theaters. I get vaginas, penises, armpits, butt cracks, all of that. What's this? What's this? What's this? Should I go to the ER? You know what I'm saying? So even when we sit down and we have our little girls' night and our dinners and stuff, we talk about it. Because we do talk about it less because with me, it'd be the last single. In my friend group, I'm the last single. Every last one of my friends is married. So prior to, yeah, that's true. But I love my brothers. They found some good men. I love them for that. I'm happy for y'all. So, but when we were all single and dating, it did used to come up because we just very transparent, colorful people. And the conversations, they happen, but they're funny too. It just depends on your type of friendship. We're very transparent but funny people. We throw it out there, see what people say, and then if everybody's comfortable with talking about it, we go ahead and talk about it and stuff. So
what about carrying your own condoms? Does anyone do that as women? As we know, it's known for men to be the ones to bring the okay, she got it in her purse right now. Okay,
I gotta dig in the console.
Oh, okay. So everyone in here is carrying their own condoms. That's a thing. No one's scared.
I haven't bought any in a long time, but that's because they free everywhere. Yeah. I don't be in Target dude. You know what I'm saying? I be at them events
Weezy, we obviously know you have an entire podcast talking about risky behavior.
Okay. So my name's Weezy. I have a podcast called Horrible Decisions. We've been doing it for almost a decade. We're two women destigmatizing sex. We started as corporate girls, just basically talking about our sex lives. And through that, found out we had a sex ed show for adults. And I didn't know through my whole life that I was teaching people how to live.
Her whole life, not whole life, whole life.
Whole life. How it is life when you're safe, little Debbie. But you know, what was great about Koya and all the team behind Risky is that when they started this and she told me what it was about, I remember thinking, okay, did she invite me because she know I be out in the streets? But
yes.
Okay, I just met you, Kayla. But what's great about that, though, is to that question you asked about talking about HIV with your friends, I'm not the nurse, but I'm the friends that people feel comfortable with talking to. And we don't all have that friend. So it's been beautiful from my last 10 years of my career to be able to be that friend to so many women. And I'm so happy to be here with y'all. And what's even greater about this is that even if it's not the podcast, right? There's a woman that won't listen to Horrible Decisions because she'd have to type in horror, but she might follow you because of food or nursing or whatever it is, or even someone in the restaurant like the GM at Ruth Chris. Like, you just don't know how you can impact somebody. So I'm so grateful that all of you are here today because it really, really matters. Just spreading that word, one little post. And truth be told, even though I was getting tested for HIV, I would say maybe every 6 months. Before this dinner, I don't know if I was asking for it during the annual. It was just a separate test I got. Not to say I wasn't getting checked, but in my annual really wasn't an option. You know, it's your big threes: trick, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia. It was not a conversation about HIV. So I'm so proud of the Risky team and Gilead for helping us do this because I really feel like this is some life-changing stuff.
Yay. I love that.
Don't get that me not checking my HIV on the camera.
I want to steal the question that Michelle had and asked you. Have you ever had a wild night that came with a possible STI or HIV scare?
Okay. So like I said, the name of my podcast is Horrible Decisions. I will tell you this. I don't know my login for my chart, but I got one. I don't know my login for Instagram, to be fair. And I'm on there every day. But I think early 20s, I was absolutely not asking everybody for their results. Maybe I was thinking to myself, well, I'll use a condom anyway. And guess what happens? The condom comes off. You wake up in the morning, they get up on you, you don't know what to do. And you honestly, sometimes I think at that younger age, kind of get embarrassed to say no. It's just like, oh, well, then I'm going to be that girl. Just like you said down there, you doing too much. I always felt like that. And it's crazy that to not take your own health into your own hands and advocate for yourself and say no. One of my favorite stories to tell at these dinners, I had a turning point for myself in my late 20s in New York with a one-night stand. He didn't have condoms, neither did I. And we literally found a way to entertain each other till the Uber Eats dropped it off. We were kissing, we were rolling around, we were using hands. It was really fun. And there's nothing that anybody could do that would make me just jump into it. Because now what I know about HIV and how much it spread, 57% is insane. And I will also say this, just thinking about the question that you ladies answered about when did you learn about HIV? I was born in San Francisco, it's gay town. So I learned a lot, my godfather, all of my mother's friends, we talked about it, right? But a black woman or a woman, period, learning about them with HIV, probably when I was 30. I just did not see it. So to know 57% is the number, but I had never heard a conversation, lets me know how much culturally we will not talk about this. So I encourage all of you, even when you're having conversations about it, not using verbiage like, are you clean? Because that's already put something in your head. Yeah. There's no clean versus dirty. Yeah. It's just being in the know. Knowing your sexuality is the most important thing. So please, please, please share all these posts.
Yes, and to piggyback off of that, there's no risky behavior either, right? The only risk is not knowing. I know we're jokingly having some conversation, but sexually, you should be able to do whatever you want as long as you know your status.
My world has come together, and maybe I just want to let it shine.
our generation is the first time in which we are having these conversations. We are being able to spread influence and impact people in a way that is going to hit home. That said, I don't want us to equate promiscuity with the lack of responsibility for your sexual health. Those are not the same, right? You can be promiscuous and still practice safe sex. A lot of people that are impacted by HIV are getting it from their husbands or in monogamous situations. That has nothing to do with promiscuity, right? The issue is that people don't want to have these conversations around HIV because of the shame and the stigma associated with it. So we're having these kind of like, oh, I don't want to get tested because I'm only with my husband, right? But it's a great chance that you still need to practice. Say, at the end of the day, it's a conversation around safety and responsibility and taking your own sexual health into, like, you have to own it. You have to own it. Nobody else is responsible for your sexual health. You are.
Yes, I love that. Do we have anyone else?
Hi, ladies that just came in. So I'm Weezy. I have a sex podcast, and I also host a TV show about how people make money from sex. It's called Sex Sells. Watch it on Prime when you go home so I can get into season 4. But anyway, I just, I think the two of you, not to make it tense, but both of you have the community in mind. Both of you want to influence in the right way, right? And what people can't really grasp, and that's starting to happen, is the idea that a lot of sexual exploration, or even having sex with multiple people puts you more at risk. But to be totally honest, one of my good friends, 36 years old, thinks she's maybe fucked 3 guys. Don't know how we're friends. But she just contracted syphilis, which is a blood disease, right? It's not this easy. Let's take a quick chlamydia pill. And came to me in tears. And I really didn't know what to say. And I made the joke, like, I know we thought it would have been me, girl, but, at the end of the day, we put our trust in another partner when we have sex with them. And so when we're having these conversations about results and paperwork, we probably did that one time. You start fucking him, you get the paperwork, and now he's your man. He's the regular fling for you, right? Like, a lot of these people are lying. Sometimes I be lying, but I be saying, but safety to me is always in the forefront. And so I think it's really not even about how we carry ourselves. It's really the trust we put in those sexual partners. So it's continuing to have that.
I feel that the sexual shame and the judgment that comes along with a word like promiscuity, I feel is the same sexual shame and judgment that keeps people from getting tested or having these conversations that we're having.
I do counseling for not only Black women, but Black men as well. And a lot of the conversations that I'm having with men are that they're having sex with other men and they're not being truthful with their partners about their sexual preference. And that is another reason why many women that's been tested that are my clients have been diagnosed with HIV. And I know that we haven't had this conversation today, but it's called on the down low. And unfortunately, some of these men don't feel as though they're bisexual or that they're gay. And we're talking about from a young age all the way up until I had a man that was 70 that had been married to his wife 40 years, that had been having sex with men for 20 years and had never shared with his wife. He has HIV and his wife does too. And so I want us to be, I love when you share it about how we trust people so much. And so we do have to have that conversation. And I know some of us are afraid to say to a man, have you ever had sex with a man? And I don't care what age you are. I don't care what we look like. You have to ask that. And unfortunately, a lot of us aren't having those conversations. And listen, I've been doing counseling for a very long time. I'm almost 50 years old and I've seen it all. And so you cannot trust anybody with shit when it comes to your body. I don't care if it's your husband. I don't care if you've been dating this Negro or whatever for however long. You have to have those hard conversations, and you shouldn't be afraid to do so. And if you have not, I need you to start now. As soon as, like you said, when you start dating, you have to ask, hey, baby, have you ever had sex with a man before? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Deb, why wouldn't you?
Do you have to ask that, or do you both just need to go get tested? What?
Okay, one second, y'all. Wait.
Because if it ain't me you like, I don't need you to be with me. I need you
All
to
right,
be with
one
a man.
person at a time. One person
What
at a
do you
time.
mean? If you don't like me,
This is really important. It comes up all the time, and I think that some men have sex with men and women. Yeah. Okay, and so if they, it's no.
True up front with me.
Right. But what I'm saying is, so if a man is having sex with men and women, they may not identify as somebody who only wants to have sex with men. Okay, just because they have.
But that's a problem, Deb, if you're not telling me that you having sex with men and women.
Right.
I need to know that.
And then if they, and yes, but the real problem is, are you HIV negative or positive?
But your behavior and you're not the level at the end of the day, for me, and I don't know how anybody else may feel about that. That's my preference.
Right.
That if you and I are having sex, and whether it's protected or not,
and if
you have
you're having inserted vaginal intercourse.
Yes.
Okay. Let's be clear about what kind of sex we're talking about. So does it matter if he's sticking or getting stuck?
Absolutely. I don't want.
No, I'm serious.
Damn. Yes.
Does it?
Yes. Absolutely.
We're not, but men that are having sex with men, right? And we're not, generally speaking, it's probably not two DL men. I can only speak from the perspective of just kind of having those conversations, but I think probably why Deb grabbed the mic is because I don't think men are going to tell the truth based on how any of these ladies would ask that question.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell you why. Because the question's going to be like, have you ever fucked a nigga before? And what you going to say? But
so
women
maybe
are
I
not
should be-
approaching this in a kind way. You
But
just
you
said
have
it that
to.
way, but they're not. And then what happens when they
But
tell you that
have
they are?
to.
Ew.
But this is the reason why we're having this conversation.
I think men are gonna lie,
because-
and I really am scared of that.
But ladies, at the end of the day, I'm telling you that women that look like us have been affected by us not asking those hard questions.
No. I
get what
know
I'm
you're
saying?
right. That we know. But the question is gonna pull these men.
Are we saying we don't want to know? Like, what is it that as Black women, why are we afraid to ask a question? Is it because we don't want to know, or
Well, it diminishes their sexuality down to the disease.
Just in general.
I'm a scientist, and I gotta correct the record, ladies. Let me correct the record. I had to grab it. I had to grab it. Ladies, if
All
you
right.
hear me good.
All right.
Hear me good.
The other mic.
This is the second time. This is the second Black event that I've been to this week where people are talking about the DL. And I want you all to be more afraid of the community penis. It's called partner concurrency. We all sleeping with the same man. He fine. Statistically speaking, we sleeping with the same people. And now we don't even care. Like, we was prudish. Like, oh, that's my man. We trying to fight. We don't even care anymore. I be Tuesday, you be Wednesday, he be Thursday. Just treat me good on Tuesday when you come see me. I don't care what you do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Like, real talk. So, yeah. So
No, you're right.
let's be equally as concerned about our safety than trying to say it's somebody, this is the gay boy's fault. It's not. It's not the only thing.
So I want to just add to the conversation as probably one of the queer people at the table. I do identify as bisexual.
Okay,
I also have dated Black men who are bisexual. So I think one of the first things, and mind you, I have a podcast called Tactless Radio, so I'm about to keep it real with every Black woman at this table. We have to understand that there's a lot of biphobia and homophobia that has that we have, that when we do want to ask the question of black men, have you been with a black man before? Have you been with a man before? We're kind of coming in with our own bias. We're coming in from a homophobic standpoint of, is he less of a man if he's been with a man? Will I respect him if he's been with a man? And a lot of black men know that that's how black women treat them, and they don't answer truthfully. A lot of us have to kind of step back and ask ourselves, are we asking in good faith, or are we asking out of fear? And I think that's where we also have to say, to go back to your point, that's important for us to have those conversations with the community. It's not just having the community and having that responsibility, but it's also holding my sister responsible for sometimes how she's entering into those conversations, because she's not doing it. She's doing it out of fear. She's not doing it out of safety. Right. So when we are talking to other men and we want to be honest, we have to be very cognizant of how we're approaching the conversation, because you're right, they're not going to be honest. Because we have kind of built up this thing where black men don't want to be honest with us about their sexuality, because the first thing anyone says when they find out you're gay, it's like gay is attributed to bad. So nobody wants to be queer, nobody wants to be gay, nobody wants to be honest. But we have to understand that as black women, we have a religious front that does not allow for us to, one, date men who are maybe not necessarily heterosexual, and then because we have that religious front, it does not allow us to even talk about sex. So many mothers do not allow their children, or specifically their daughters, to learn about sex, because they think, if I teach my girl about sex, she's gonna go out there and have sex. So now you're a 16-year-old and you don't know how to use condoms, and you don't know how to use tampons, because your mama told you to stay at the church and be at the pulpit and be a God-fearing woman.
Orgasm.
Don't even know how, or how to give yourself one.
All right,
so when we talk about the community, and when we talk about protecting the community, and when we talk about uplifting the community, your community starts in your household. Your community is your daughter, it's your sister, it's your mother. You don't necessarily have to go too far to implement change. It could be the little one in your household. And for a lot of us, that's where it starts. Be the woman that teaches you about sex education that you wish you had.
Yes, I love that. All right, ladies, for the sake of time, we have to wrap things up. And before it's great. You got to talk to Chiana, not me. But, so listen, I want to give you guys your prevention options. Does anyone know their prevention options? We kind of touched on one earlier. PrEP is definitely one. And if you don't know what PrEP is, it's pre-exposure prophylaxis. It is a pill you can take to ensure, and it has a 99.9% rate, to ensure that you stay HIV negative. It's also, if you are a girly who doesn't like to pop pills, there's an injectable form as well that you can take. But I love to educate people on their prevention options, just to let them know this thing is out here alive and well. And this is something that can help you combat it. Also, if you have young siblings, I know I have younger sisters, I like to equip them with that, and let them know as well. So that is something I want to make sure you guys know that is out there and is available to black women. It's not specific to any gender or race. So it's something out there that you guys could go out and combat yourself with. They call us influencers, so let's influence our community for better and for change. So I want to empower all of you to go back and do that with your following, your friends, your family, any of your social circles. So thank you all for being here today. You look beautiful. This was some great, juicy conversation. This was amazing.